are the spidey senses tingling again that this might be the year? Will you be sitting in Murray's and your mate getting a bus home, or will your mate be like, where do we own this town?
That's the thing, you see. You have to decide where you're going to be for it, because that's an important feeling to have after.
Mayo would shut down for weeks, wouldn't it?
There was lads crying in one of the finals that Mayo lost outside the pubs, just like lads who would never show emotion, men in their 70s. Lads, really tough lads with big hands, and it was just like, I just seen them breaking down. I was like, please win it in my time.
Jeez,
But I'll probably be in Mayo for the next one.
It's a good story, though, the constant waiting for it. Yeah, I mean, it's great to live through, I suspect. Maybe it is great to live through, because you always feel alive. That's
definitely, and it makes it all exciting.
It is always exciting.
Yeah, and
your brand is, we are the exciting team who will, when we look like we're dead, we're not dead, and when we look like we're going to win it, we're not going to win it. It's like
you never
keeping
know.
You on your toes.
Exactly, yeah.
We have two more to go. This one, I mean, I'm very surprised. Shay Given for Ireland against Italy in Poznan in 2012.
Another free ticket.
Right.
Well, a ticket that it was raffled between myself and the lads. So myself and another friend, Michael Salmon, got 2 tickets.
Right.
But for some reason we just went in different directions to the stadium. And we were in the stadium, and I was in a big bunch of Irish, Polish people from all over the world. Were just in the stadium shouting, and I don't really have good eyesight, hence I got the glasses, so I couldn't quite see what was going on. But I remember I was asking a fella beside me, and he's like, "Oh, Shay Givens after saving that one again." So I felt like his presence was very important to stop us getting hammered altogether.
Yeah, I mean, that
tournament, diving,
tournament wasn't great.
No, it wasn't great. No, but the atmosphere was amazing. We were actually over in Poznan at the time, over there doing a bit of filming.
Right.
But the next day we went to this kind of water park just to kind of chill out, and just to kind of relax and forget about the football. And myself and another lad were in this kind of spa kind of jacuzzi area. And, there's different etiquette around the world for those kind of things. So we were kind of in a circular room, and there was a hose in there just with water coming out of it, just to cool you down. So my friend had the hose out, and he started spraying it all over the room. And then all of a sudden, he was like, "What's that?" And then this, really big Polish guy kind of walked out of the mist. And he'd been spraying this Polish lad on the chest with water. So he found the funny side of it too, thank God, because he was a big dude. Yeah. But that certainly made us forget about the result anyway.
Jesus. Didn't forget something like that in a hurry.
Yeah, but the Irish fans at that particular competition, everyone was like, "You're Irish, oh my God, I want to buy you a drink," or they want to spend time with you.
There was a 24-hour sensation where everyone was like, "Oh, you can't be singing the Fields of Athenry at the end of the game." I was like, well, I mean, for me, the Fields of Athenry is like a horror show where you're mourning the loss of something terrible. And it's only appropriate when you've been hammered or you're trying to lift up a team who've been beaten. The Munster fans did it after Northampton beat them in the European Cup final in rugby. And the Ireland fans did it after that, and I thought that was quite appropriate. If Leinster fans had broken into it last week, I wouldn't have minded, because it's like, we still have your backs here. There was I thought I personally at the time.
No, it's the undying support,
That's a patriotic song too, though.
Patriotic,
isn't it? It's a lament at the end of it all, but
it's a lament for something lost, and we had lost our all the football matches. Badly.
Let's not go into detail now.
Exactly. And then the last one is Simon Zebo. This is a moment of exuberance to finish on Wales against Ireland in 2013.
My brother got me a ticket for that. And he's like, "Do you want to go to this game in Cardiff?" And I was like, "I don't really know anything about rugby at all." But he goes, "Come on, sure, it'll be a bit of fun." And again, the eyesight was kind of struggling at the time. So I remember I seen the Zebo flick, and I was like, what was that? I couldn't really get it. And I had to wait to see it on the big screen to realise how good it was, because there was a massive kind of roar at the time,
Yeah.
And that was amazing, that was the one and only rugby game I've ever been to.
A lot of times the roar at matches is like, I think something amazing has happened, what was it? It's kind of and then you see it again on the big screen and it's ooh.
Yeah, exactly, you can digest it a bit better. But we went to a pub then quite close to the stadium after, and then we met some Welsh ladies, and they were like, "Oh, go on, speak to us in Irish or your Irish accents and all that stuff." So we were just chatting to them about the bog and fucking turf, and they were loving it. So I suppose maybe, I don't know, you might have some Welsh people down the bog.
What were you saying about the bog? What would you say?
Just kind of saying stuff like, "Oh, I love a bit of foot and turf," and You know, there's a great drine out there. And they found that's just like hilarious because they'd never heard any bog talk before.
Wow. So there you go. So it was a good day and good night.
Yeah, it was good, yeah.
Are we to assume that retrospectively now, all of these, there was also something else that happened in what was the name of the nightclub?
Julian's.
Julian's. Yeah, good night that night too.
Or the Poznan steam room incident. The great Poznan steam room incident.
I'm married to like a Polish fella now.
There you go.
All in all, great times, you know, great experiences, and yeah.
Well, thanks very much for sharing it. So, your next gig is in Mullingar tomorrow night, you said?
Mullingar tomorrow night.
Tickets still available or no?
I think that one's sold out. That's in Columbia Bar. And then I'm in the Roisin Dove in Galway, and then Dolan's as well in Limerick. So it's kind of like a mini tour, and then I'm going to sort of add on some extra dates at the end of it.
Okay, so for dates and fitness advice, get onto Instagram.
Please do, yeah.
On Coggins, you had to be there. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much.
It's so unexpected.
It's one of those you had to be there moments.
You had to be there.
It subsequently genuinely did change everything about my life.
You had to be there.
This is Off the Ball Breakfast.
Ireland's sports breakfast show.
Football on Off the Ball.
And I think that's why the Mark Gay thing, I think that really was. The stories were that he would have resigned had Gay been sold. I think that may well be true, that I think that would have been the final straw for him. I think you've seen they've had some very good performances this season, but they've been a bit inconsistent, and I think fatigue probably is a large part of that.
Join in the obsession. Subscribe now at offtheball.com/join. You're listening to Off the Ball Breakfast.
Ireland's sports breakfast show.
All right, you're very welcome along. It is the last show of the year, and there's only one thing on our agenda today, and that's Billy Boohig. You had to be there. It's not going to be at 8:15, though. It's going to be much earlier than that. The man, the myth, the legend. Billy, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Ger.
How are you?
Very good. And yourself?
I'm well.
Good.
What's going on?
See you all. Yeah.
Are you nervous, or are you nervous about,
No, just nervous talking to you on the ground with the lads. But
this is an important moment in Colm's life.
Is it? Yeah.
Well, not for you. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's your grand. It's him I'm worried about.
I know he's fine. He's fine. Yeah. You'll manage, will you?
Arthur also here.
Yeah, that's great.
Morning, Arthur.
Morning. Gotta watch out for these nepo daddies,
Yeah.
coming along.
It's gone in reverse.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Former Know Your Sport contestant.
How far did you get?
First round.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure
First
luck.
round. Yeah.
First round of Blackboard Jungle also.
First round. Yeah. Four of us were level going into the last round.
Oh, yeah.
There was no penalty in the buzzards, so there was a guy. Yeah.
Oh,
So there was a fella right next to Jimmy. Went to school with Jimmy. And I'm not bitter or whatever.
Went to school with Jimmy. Was Jimmy showing him? He's dead now? You can't libel him. Was Jimmy showing him the?
No. But he told
Definitely
him.
not.
He showed him how to use the buzzer. You see.
All right.
I was too slow. It was good stuff.
It's all strategy.
It's good stuff. Yeah.
Are you watching Celebrity Mastermind, or is that beneath you? It was on last night.
Celebrity Mastermind. No, I don't really like Mastermind.
I thought you loved that.
No, University Challenge I love.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Mastermind's fine.
Too easy.
That's not too easy at all. It's nothing to do with being easy. I just don't enjoy it as much.
Chesney Hawkes was very good.
At what? What was the specialist?
The sound was down, but he was getting massive numbers.
It's like Fisher's. Yeah, but I do suspect they make it a wee bit easier.
Is there a mastermind to their own career?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, specialist subject and then general.
What would be your specialist subject?
Me?
Yeah.
I'll be something Bob Dylan.
Not Limerick hurling?
Nah, I'll be something Bob Dylan. Just making more sense as well.
Like a specific era. Late
Yeah, but you got to have a few. If you win and come back, you got to have a few. You know, I always thought you just had one. But like you see the return subjects, I think, I'm almost certain you have to have more than one thing because they run out of questions, I guess. Maybe I'm wrong on that.
When you say they come back, there's more rounds. You don't just...
Yeah. It's not just a one and done.
We'll very quickly run through the newspapers before we get into the meat of today. Unless there's anything else you want to talk about.
We watched the Kenny Dalglish documentary last night. Per your recommendation, this is my second time around watching it. It is mad, right, that the majority of the documentary is just all good news. Good news. It's like he met a lovely woman and they had a great family and he has an amazing life. And like usually you need a bit of jeopardy in documentaries to keep you interesting. But the way it's done is kind of still really captivating. And it's not until the final third where it gets a bit negative. And again, it's obviously tragic.
A bit emotional, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah. Towards the end.
And Hyson.
Heysel and then Hillsborough, very close. And then the way he left, I didn't realise he left so dramatically. So I actually didn't know that much about Dalglish other than everyone telling me how amazing he was. So just watching the footage alone was worth it.
I think that was for future generations, that was the best part, right? It was like he scored every type of goal, which was kind of, and also was such a prolific goal scorer as opposed to just I kind of felt maybe he was a 10, but actually he could do everything.
Was Jack Steen had the tactics board had front two, and he said you'll be here just behind him. That goal, that ship finished against Club Brugge.
I remember seeing that live. That's the first time I ever saw that type of goal.
Yeah, because you see the
he almost invented that. You know,
he did. He saw what the keeper was up to. Yeah. Salah got the winner for Egypt late on the Afghan.
He did. There's a picture of him on the back of the Indo this morning. The Pharaoh rises. Salah steals show for Egypt. Foley set to leave Leinster and reunite with Lancaster. So this news came through yesterday afternoon.
They don't even mention Connacht. There was a thing, it's funny, the theme in the morning. My own father from Limerick used to live in Mayo, but would never say he lived in Mayo. He lived in Westport. It's like Westport always a little bit more glamorous than Mayo. Yeah. Really, with Lancaster. Where's he reuniting?
Why was Westport more glamorous than Mayo?
Westport's a nice town, you know. It's lovely. It's a lovely space, lovely spot.
It has tourists.
It's just a little bit more. It's just Mayo. Could be anywhere. You could be Claremorris. You could be wherever you want. But
there's more pizzazz in Westport than Mayo.
I think so.
Killarney.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The Belfast of Antrim.
It's a lovely place. I was only there a year or two ago.
I don't know. It's probably
the
nicer,
most famous.
Nicer parts, but nicer parts. You know.
Poor old Frawley. So he was caught for Ulster's first try the other day.
Sorry, Connacht also have Larmer on radar as the subheading. They're relegated to the subheading. In that one.
Poor Larmer's suffering badly with his injuries, isn't he? He was injured again in his last game.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Frawley on move. Leinster back making switch to Connacht is the headline on the Mail. Does that pass muster?
Blade of them.
Yeah. And sorry, they have a picture of Raul Jimenez celebrating last night with the headband on, obviously. So they won 1-0 against Nottingham Forest in a game that no one's ever going to think about again.
No, but they do that. The last Premier League game before Christmas is always that type of fixture. Charlton Fulham, like.
I'd wonder what the watching number.
I love it. I love to know. Outside of the fans of the clubs.
Yeah.
But you never know. People are finished up. It's kind of it's a cosy watch.
A lot of people in the pub last night.
Does that count? That count. That's second hand.
No,
that's a glance on the way to the Jacks. On the way to the Jacks.
When you see the figures reported, they're counting those figures.
Yeah,
but not per person.
But I want the real.
That's one view. That's one view.
I want the real thing.
You have Arsenal Palace tonight too in the League Cup quarter final. Poor old Palace. So they have to play Thursday in the Conference League and then Saturday in the Premier League and now tonight in the League Cup.
The Examiner holding no truck with anything that happened yesterday on their back page. Final stories. Tipperary heroes reflect on the season they turned blue to gold. For more green flags, hurling needs more black cards. And Martin O'Neill talking about...
I read that. That's interesting. He had a right go at Matt Doherty.
Matt Doherty.
Did he?
Doesn't like Matt Doherty.
I didn't see
right go. Doherty was out the other day saying some of his teammates were cowards.
Yeah. Don't be cowards.
And O'Neill is having a cut back off of him in that. So there's a bit previous there, I think.
In fairness to Matt Doherty, he did say loads of us, like me included, need to up our games.
Yeah, he knows he's not been playing that much though because he's been out injured or whatever. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Doherty claimed he was called a tosser by O'Neill, arising from a radio interview he gave on the day that the manager and assistant Roy Keane were sacked by the FAI in 2018. So Matt Doherty did, I think he went on 2FM back when they used to have a daily sports show on 2FM. They don't anymore, they dropped that. And Doherty was basically saying, I mean, there was no organisation, there was no tactics, there was nothing. We were left to our own devices out there, which, you know, kind of part of the era was good, and then obviously took off all the midfielders and got hammered 5-1 at home in the World Cup playoff and then limped into the next one. Then O'Neill says, if I was the Wolves manager, Rob Edwards, thanks very much for clarifying that. If I was the Wolves manager, Rob Edwards...
you know that, you know speaking voice. I can imagine him saying that.
I wouldn't listen to a word Matt was saying. Matt's a brilliant talker, a really good talker, but he'd want to do a bit more playing. Personally speaking, that's self-absolvement. Yeah. No, in fairness, his stock has never been higher, but the petty need to go back in and reignite old feuds.
That's what. Well, it's like we were having this conversation yesterday.
Isn't that what makes him great?
But about like Roy Keane. And you're like, well, what he offers is obviously like witty put-downs and everything else, and kind of this. He's not going to him for tactics or whatever else. That's why O'Neill keeps getting those calls. Like,
Yeah, because he's a nasty.
well, he's not nasty. Like, he's been to be fair to him. Like, at least he's picking people he knows.
Well, it's just, but it is just, it's not taking each thing on its merits, there, pal. It's like I've got an axe to grind, and I'm going to grind the axe right in Matt Doherty's back. Like he's shut up about the Brentford manager, hasn't he?
Oh, I haven't listened.
He has, yeah.
Not saying.
Rangers doing okay,
not still keeping up about Keith Andrews, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, Keith's a big job for Keith, isn't it? Not sure he's going to make it. Now he's riding high.
He's riding reasonable, but
He's riding higher than Martin O'Neill was the last time Martin O'Neill was in the Premier League.
Oh no, he's doing
a long time ago. He didn't make it to the Premier League again after Villa, did he?
I saw them against Spurs a couple of weeks ago, and they were very, very limited, I must say.
No, sorry, it's Brentford.
Yeah, they were very limited that day.
Yeah,
they play well at home. They seem to do well at home, but away this
chronic watch. Like.
I thought you'd have some sort of fondness for O'Neill.
Yeah,
I know I do, but
He's a great
I
fella.
need to shut up with this stuff. Like this is like
he was on a radio show and he's asked about it.
I know, but it's like he hates Matt Doherty because Matt Doherty told the truth about what it was like when he was the Ireland manager at the end, right? And there's a bit of that, like,
Is Matt Doherty not a brilliant talker?
I mean, maybe. Also, he's also managed to stay around for 53 years, baby. It's like he's had a much better playing career than we would give him credit for. The fact that he's still getting game time in the Premier League at this stage of his career.
But like he's had a good playing career. But like I always like O'Neill had a better one.
He did,
So you can kind of, I think, take a shot.
All right.
I'm all here for it.
Isak's surgery shock. It wasn't really that much of a shock that he was having surgery, given that it was.
No, because they thought at the start it wasn't too bad, and it seems to be worse now.
Out until March, they're saying.
Bad news for Sweden.
Bad news for Sweden.
Yeah.
Well, bad news for Alexander, like, to be fair to him. They're not going to miss him that much, you see. That's what's going to hurt even more.
Yeah, but does it refresh everybody's expectations about him? They're going to write off the rest of the season, and maybe he comes and has a few.
It depends about the recovery, doesn't it? It's all about the recovery. If he comes back strong or stronger than happy days, it's probably the best thing that's going to happen to him. But like, I'd say getting seriously injured while scoring a goal, nice way to exit. He'll have that memory.
Troy Parrott.
Or else he'll be traumatised by the goal.
Didn't the same thing happen to Troy Parrott? He missed about 4 months.
Terrified to score again.
He'll never score again.
Chris Ria, home for Christmas.
Yeah.
I died yesterday after, they said a short illness, but he'd actually been, I didn't realise he'd lost his pancreas in his 30s.
Yeah.
And he'd survived the whole way.
Very serious.
That's
21, I think. He was in 2021. I think he was very seriously ill as well, and seemed to recover a bit. But it's ironic it should happen this time of year, isn't it?
There's a brilliant piece in The Guardian about his career. Do you know anything about him?
Very little.
I knew nothing about him either. It's just like his schmaltzy kind of stuff. Irish ma. An Italian dad.
Italian father,
Yeah. His big breakthrough hit was, I had it about 5 minutes ago in my head. Anyway, his massive breakthrough hit, Grammy nominated, Grammy runner-up, Billy Joel beats him. And he's like, that's not my music, that's shit. They produced that in a way that I don't sound like that at all. And kind of basically refused to dine out on it. I thought it was very impressive. Good piece in The Guardian. You like it?
I'll have a look, yeah.
I did for Ollie. Did that. Did the Examiner. Was it the Christmas party yesterday? Is that what happens when something like that? The back page is like 3 stories that are. I mean, look, we showed up today, but don't worry, we're not coming back for a while. So hats off. I hope they have a good party though.
Yeah. Everyone's done now at this stage.
It is, yeah.
Well, we'll get to the main event.
Rugby's big problems, but McBride's advice can steer it back on track. Oh, Willie John. Come on down, Willie John. Whoa. Right. What did he say? Anybody?
No, I didn't see it. I never seen it times.
He's concerned about the weight of these fresh behemoths ranging around 140 kg or 22 stone. He's fat shaming them just like Pep. Willie John McBride and Pep Guardiola want to weigh people before they come on.
Yeah.
Isaac accident. Can anybody?
No. I always forget those headlines. What are the other two?
Wish you a Merry Christmas and a Napoli New Year.
Oh, what's he saying?
They're saying Ferguson's going to.
Napoli are interested, and then they might do a swap.
That'd be unbelievable for them.
Who?
With their
Ferguson.
She won't play there either.
He might
Isaac
win the league with
Cloth and Ashes.
Sure, what's up? He's not going to win the league with them. He'll win the league there.
They'll give him a medal.
They give him a medal, yeah.
It'll be on his Wikipedia. For sure.
In 10 years, no one will think twice about that.
I mean, I'd say you would have been similarly dismissive whenever Scott McTominay was heading there. He won't go. He's not going to play there. And there he is, finishing the top 20 in the Ballon d'Or. So who knows?
25 million for
the
him.
future is not written.
Well, he's not going to play
The
for
future's not written. That's all I'm saying. You don't know what's going to happen.
I know.
I've a bit of Christmas spirit when it comes to.
He's not going to play for. He's not playing for Roma.
Well, he's playing bits for Roma.
Bits, exactly. This is a better team. And Rasmus Højlund's better than him.
I don't know. My New Year's resolution, I'm not counting on anything ever again after Portugal-Hungary. We did the permutations that Wednesday, right? And the last permutation was, and if Ireland win both games, and everyone started laughing.
Yeah.
They laughed at them.
That doesn't make it any less likely.
It still happened. So I'm not going to rule it. Ferguson could go to Napoli, and it could be the making of him. But I'm surprised to see him linked. Obviously, he has something about him. If he's getting
nice to see someone that nice nurturing style of Antonio Conte.
Well, it could work. What about Victor Moses?
Why does Conte want him?
Squad depth. They've got a lot of.
Well, he has other options. You didn't have to pick Ferguson.
Like Lukaku's injured for the season. So
I thought Brighton were talking about taking him back last week when their striker.
They'll do anything to keep him away.
It's hard to know if that's actually.
But they're sucking numbers, I think.
It is hard to know if that's just them.
That's a Brighton and Hove Albion thing. They're paying you to play.
Up the sale price, yeah.
It's good money ball reference.
Yeah. That's for you.
Everything you read in the paper, yeah.
All right. So we thought we had the last You Had to Be There of the year with Sean Morans, which was very good. But it turns out we have another one. First, time for some cash.
Off the balls, cash machine.
Now, can Billy Boohig win this?
Oh, yeah. No,
hold on.
Of course not.
Why not? It's immediate family.
Family, yeah.
Immediate.
Yeah.
Do you know how
Immediate.
You know how this works. You have your own children.
Yeah. Immediate.
I'd say passing that one, give that one up.
You can enter, I'd say enter under an alias. The fun continues. And to make the season even brighter, the Christmas cash machine is packed with a sparkling €100,000 prize pot. The kind of Christmas treat that will look very nice under the tree. And yes, there will be a guaranteed winner of that €100,000 today, Tuesday. It's the usual way to take part. Very simple. Text OTB to 57557. It'll cost you €2.50 plus your standard message rate to play. You have to be over 18. You're playing across the Go Loud network of stations, and the full terms on our website at offtheball.com. Get your entry in by 3 o'clock today, Tuesday, this afternoon. The cash machine will then randomly pick a number, and it could be you. We're calling. If it is you, if you are the lucky one, make sure you answer within 5 rings. So get Terry to do that part, and they can ring Terry. And she'll pick up the phone within 5 rings because she'll always answer quickly. And then, Terry, you tell them that the prize amount is €100,000 exactly, and it is precisely what you will walk away with. We're back after this for the final slot of Off the Ball Breakfast this morning. The first slot and the final slot. It's Bill Boohig's You Had to Be There.
Off the balls, cash machine.
Off the Ball, GAA. Kieran Doonan makes one of the greatest blocks I've ever seen. And there's everyone crying and screaming and roaring about it being a foot block. It hits him in the Rogie. Doesn't hit him in the foot. It hits him in the thigh and catches him very high up. He's an absolute agony on the ground. Like, it's not a foot block, which everyone is calling for a penalty afterwards.
Join in the obsession. Subscribe now at offtheball.com/join. You're listening to Off the Ball Breakfast,
Ireland's sports breakfast show.
Yeah, you just have to be there.
You had to be there. And it was just great to say, all right, was there for that. You know what I mean?
You have to be there. I wish I wasn't there. You have to be there.
All right, it is very special you had to be there. It's Colm's dad, Billy. How are you?
Very good, Ger, and yourself?
Yeah, very good. Looking forward to this.
Happy Christmas, yeah.
You were saying off air that an accident of birth, essentially, that you were in kind of a triangle of sports venues that meant that you were essentially steeped in sports watching from the get-go.
Absolutely. And very lucky in that my father was also a sports fanatic. So he brought me everywhere. I can remember going everywhere with him. Very well known, actually, in Irish rowing circles.
All right.
Probably the best cocks in the country in his time, when all the crews had cocks in those days. And before Ireland got competitive internationally, would have been known up and down the country.
And was he a little guy?
Not too little, but he was little, yeah.
Right.
He was about 5'7", 5'8".
He kind of needs to be, right?
He could read a river like nobody could read a river. He'd see currents. All the regattas in those days were on rivers, not on lakes like you have now. And particularly in Cork, he knew the lane to get into.
Did you row as a kid?
Very badly.
Right. So
everything I did very badly in sports. But yeah, I tried to row, not very well, unfortunately.
And did you have access to all these sports that were Like,
oh yeah, it was excellent. I mean, we were 5-minute walk from Cork Athletic Grounds, no Park Equive. 10-minute walk to Flower Lodge, which was Cork Hibs, team I supported, as against Cork Celtic. And next door to that was Temple Hill, which is where Cork Con play.
Right.
So it couldn't be better.
And did you play rugby as a kid?
No, played rugby when I came to Dublin. I went to a GA school, Cloistercrease 3.
Right. And so what GA club then, sorry?
Blackrock.
Okay.
And St. Michael's football, so more so football, underage. And talking about Cloistercrease 3, I'm constrained to 5 moments going back. But outside of that, I'll take a bit of a licence on this. 1970, my school, Crease 3, beat, you were talking about Martin O'Neill earlier, beat St. Malachy's in Belfast. And Martin O'Neill played with that team. He was absolutely magnificent. And he was on, was it this year or last year? He was on the overlap with Keane and all those guys. And he himself brought it up towards the end of the programme. That was his biggest sporting disappointment, being beaten by Crease 3 in the All-Ireland Colleges final in 1970.
Right.
Amazing. You were talking about he was 53 years looking back. And that was his man. And he stayed in touch with our lads, actually, the fellas on that team.
Is that, just because Dad marked him?
Yes. Dennis, yeah. Dennis played in the Munster final afterwards. That Crease 3 team actually formed, I won't say the base, but they provided about 4 or 5 of the Cork team that won the All-Ireland in 73. And 2 or 3 of those went on to win the 3 in a row in hurling. So it
73 teams football?
Yeah.
So they're obviously dual talented stars.
In those days, when there were quite a few of them, yeah. You go through that team. There were some fantastic players in that team.
And so what was your main sport growing up? Was it?
It was everything, because everything was on hand. I'd say hurling was probably the main one, but I was a Hib supporter then as well. But literally, I would say every weekend of the year there was a match on, be it soccer, hurling, football, and the occasional rugby game thrown in.
And so when you've obviously been picking this list for a couple of years, I'd say, in your head.
No, it was actually yesterday. This thing, are you coming up? We need to see, because you're going to Waterford, I think, because we wouldn't be seeing you for Christmas.
Yeah.
So Mammy wanted to come up and see her favourite son, her only son. So Terry decided we're going to Dublin. So, and I was interested coming in just to see how the programme was produced. I'd have been interested in that kind of thing. And he said, "Why don't you come on and we do this?" So
last day of school,
last day of school, I came up and picked these.
And how easy was it?
Oh, it was difficult. There were so many. Not being smart. I mean, I could another one I leave off. My Dennehy's hat trick for Cork Hibs against Waterford. I think it was the same year. The last game of the league was Hibs and Waterford in the lodge. 25,000 people packed into the lodge. It was effectively the league playoff. Whoever won that game won the league. And Hibs were 2-0 up 10 minutes to go. Waterford were down a man and the fella sent off, and they won it 3-2. Waterford won it 3-2. It was an amazing game. I could be wrong. I think it was the following Sunday Maya got the hat trick then for Hibs to beat Waterford. And it was sold to Nottingham Forest, and 2 or 3 years later Hibs were gone.
Right.
And Celtic stood in their place. They won the league, and a couple of years after that they were gone. And this is a recurring theme in Cork soccer. It was heartbreaking at the time. There was a march through the city centre when David Cuzzy left Hibs. He went to Home Farm, I think, and there were a couple of thousand people marched down Patrick Street complaining about this. There was all sorts of stuff going on. I don't know what it was, but it was very sad. And in the old days, you had 2 teams in Cork. The derbies were brilliant. And the games against Waterford, they were the standout games. They were fantastic. They were great days. The crowds, the huge crowds at those matches.
And that's in Flower Lodge, is it?
Yeah. And Turners Cross was Celtic's ground then.
Okay.
Which is where Cork City play now.
Yeah. I've never been to Flower Lodge. Is it like a...
Parkley Ring now.
Oh, okay. Right. Very good.
Flower Lodge was developed by the AOH, the Ancient Order of Hibernians. They owned it. And Stanley Matthews came over to look at it. They got him over and he said it was the second best pitch he had ever seen, Wembley being number 1.
Right.
And it was... I trained in it a couple of times, and it was huge. It was the biggest pitch in the country, but the surface was magnificent in it.
We went down to the Viscount yesterday to pick these 5. That's where we got the voice note from, where he's like, "It's actually the 5 we're going to go." But there's a few notable omissions, namely George Best, because you saw George Best in person.
Yeah, it was pathetic watching the poor man going around the place. He played. They were expecting such a crowd that Celtic played in Turners Cross, but they played the first match. They played it in Flower Lodge just to accommodate the crowd. But for the second game, which was his third game at Celtic, that the interest had waned. They just went back to Turners Cross. There's actually a feature in the Examiner today on that.
Yeah.
I was just looking at it. There were a lot of good players came over. Bobby Charlton came over. He played with Waterford. Rodney Marsh, Terry McDermott. They went through a phase. They all came over for 4 or 5 weeks. They're probably getting paid more there
where
than
did that money come from to pay them, considering the money now?
I don't know. It could have been sponsored, I'd imagine. fellas putting up cash just to...
Bobby Tamlin was one who came over and he stayed.
They got it in gate receipts as well. I mean, the place was packed. Bobby Tamlin came and stayed.
Yeah.
He played with Cork Celtic. Tamlin had a match of the day record for years and years.
What was it?
The most goals scored. He scored 5 for Chelsea. And I think...
in a game?
Yeah. He was totally committed. He was either Mormon or Jehovah's Witness, and whenever the national anthems would play, he'd run off the pitch. Some of the big games. That was part of their religion, you wouldn't say it. And he'd go off while that was on, he'd come back on. It was a very highly principled man. He's still alive living in Crosshaven, as far as I know.
Before we start officially with your 5, any other ones that were very close to getting in?
Oh, I'd have to stop it. 2 Munster finals when Cork beat Kerry in Killarney. The first one was 74, having won in 73. It's the first time they'd beaten Kerry in Killarney for years. It was Mick O'Connell's last game for Kerry.
In 74?
Yeah.
Oh,
he came on as a sub that day.
Is Mick O'Dyer's first year the next year then? They win their first in 75.
Would have been, yeah.
Yeah.
That famous, the Bachelor team that beat the Dubs, totally.
So it's last
the other one was 87. Cork did win in 83. Threw away an All-Ireland semi-final against Dublin and were well beaten down the park in the replay. But 87 really was the first one they won back, and that started the trilogy with Meath, which I'll come back to later on. But it was just fantastic to beat Kerry in Killarney. It gave them confidence that they didn't have before. So there were 2 great wins to beat Kerry in Killarney. Now, that Kerry team, in fairness, was at the end. I mean, they had been there for years and years. They were there for over 12 years at that stage, I'd say. But it was a sweet victory nonetheless.
Kerry don't make the list, I don't think. But we do have a connection with Balmerliston, do we?
Oh, very tenuous. His first cousin married my mother's first cousin. So there you go. That's stretching it.
I thought there was another story.
Which one?
About Liston. Involving your wife, my mother.
Oh, she'll kill me, but okay, you'll be blamed for this. The day after the All-Ireland in 78, when Robbie Keller handed the ball to Mikey Sheehy, the famous goal, we went down to Jury's for lunch, Terry and myself, and the bomber was with Pat Spillane, and Brian Mullins. And Terry was 7 months pregnant at the time and showing every bit of it. But just the bomber is about where you are away, and she says, God, I'd love to get his autograph. So I said, why don't you? So pen and paper, she walks over to the bomber and she says, as I say, out the here now, she says, oh, and I'm sorry for disturbing you, but could I have your address, please? She said to him. As she came back, she was the colour of that thing there. So I met the bomber's brother, Porrig, through the family connections a few years later, and I told him this story, and he couldn't be consoled. He said, if you ever see him, you'll have to remind him of that story. And we did a couple of years ago. And Ogie Moran was with him, and I went over and said, sorry lads, but Porrig told me I have to tell you the story to remember it. He didn't remember it, but the 2 lads were in stitches at the thing again, so your mother would be thrilled with for me.
His life flashed before his eyes, and this woman approached him. Yeah. So Kerry don't make it. Anything else before we get into the official 5?
No, I'm sure they'll come to me as I go through it.
All right, we start?
Yeah, go for it.
We'll go chronological, will we? So 1977, the Republic of Ireland won, France nil, Lansdowne Road, Liam Brady. It's 30th of March. It's your 25th birthday.
It is, yes, yeah. But what a goal! It was absolutely. He scored into the goal. I was behind the goal. They were very unfortunate in that World Cup campaign. I think it was Bulgaria. They had a goal disallowed that shouldn't have been disallowed. I might have
no, this is who's managing it this stage?
Johnny Giles.
This is player manager Giles. Yeah.
Anyway, the ball came in. Giles put a free into the box, was nodded out, and it came to Brady, and he looked up, and there was just a wall of players from both sides in front of him. Nobody on the wings.
It's mad.
And I could see him. I was literally looking down top of him. Next ball, he flicked the ball up in the air, caught a slight deflection from one of the French fellas, which didn't harm it. Was 1-1 with the goalie and left the goalie for dead. It was a fantastic goal. The vision to see the space where nobody else could see it. It'll long live with me. I thought it was an amazing goal.
Well, the two of us, Arthur and myself, were watching it this morning. And it's just such a weird goal because the French team come out and won like a rugby line, and then he has a heavy touch, Brady. So then he has to toe poke it behind the keeper.
But there's nobody else on the field, including Platini, who was playing that. They would have seen that goal, I'd say. I just thought he was just magic.
The pitch looks great.
They had just started to play in Lansdowne. They played Russia in Brady's first ever game, Don Given's hat-trick in 74 in Dalymount. And there were 40,000 people there, and it was...
unsafe.
It was very, very unsafe. So I think that decided the next big game they're going to have to go.
There's great photographs from that night of people actually standing on top of the corrugated iron from the back of one goal.
That's I remember that goal, down there. It's very sad to see Dalymount as it is now. In those days, there was a great atmosphere. But they started playing. The pitch looked great, but the pitch wasn't always great because it was primarily a rugby pitch. And I think club games used to be played there at that time.
Yeah.
So the surface wasn't great there, but it was so much better than Dalymount. Dalymount was, apart from being a health hazard, the pitch was in a poor state at that stage.
And were you a regular Ireland matchgoer at that stage?
Mm-hmm. I lived in Dublin, so it was very handy, and single. So you took the afternoon off work, went along. It was a game you had Platini was playing. You had the fantastically named what's the winger? Rocheteau.
The French
Dominique Rodriguez. He was a fantastic player. Tressor. He was the centre half. He was superb. You went over to see these fellas.
The Irish midfield was Giles and Brady, and Highway was out wide.
Highway was fabulous. Yeah,
unbelievable.
He had. I don't know, was he born in Ireland, but he was before the granny rule. I think he was one of his parents. I think might have been Irish. But he was a fantastic player. I mean, he was a really, really good player, So they went on then in the next World Cup. You were saying other games that might come to mind. They played either France or Belgium away. And again, they just missed qualification for 82 in this match. They had to win this match. They were away from home. And they scored a goal 10 minutes from the end. And I watched this in the Baggett Inn, I think it was. The place was packed. And a bit like Parrots. All the shots we saw recently when Parrots scored and everybody went wild. So in this pub, we go 1-0 up, 10 minutes to go, we're to the World Cup finals. The place went ballistic, absolutely ballistic. And the final whistle went, and we look and we see all the Irish players and they're all coming off, heads down. What? What's this all about? But because of the noise, we couldn't hear the commentary. And there were no graphics on the screen at that time. And it's only when the final whistle went that we realised the goal had been disallowed. The greatest anticlimax of all time. It was dreadful. It really was. I'll never forget that. So it took Charlton to I think, was it Owen Hand? I think might have been managing them at this stage.
And they got absolutely ridden by corrupt refereeing.
Totally. They were, including that goal. There's no doubt they're a small country. I think Charlton brought his own mystique to the thing, but he had a bit of a reputation about him, and I'd say fellas weren't going to mess with him to the same extent. But we were treated badly. There's no two ways about it. There was one match in Bulgaria, I can't remember which one it was, and we were ridden left, right and centre in that game. I'll never forget it. It's very depressing to be watching it and not being treated fairly, for want of a better way of putting it.
Paul Howard has written great pieces with the referee.
Okay.
Who he went off over. I think the referee was Romanian. I'm not going to butcher this. Anyway, I'll find it here. What?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know. Yeah, that was with the Tribune.
Yeah.
So
I'm fairly sure they revisited that at some point.
Was your peak interest and love of Ireland, was it done by Euro 88 by the time we got in?
I know, it's just I was back in Cork at this stage, so it wasn't as easy to get the games, young family and so on,
I had all the details wrong. It was a Romanian referee, Raul Nazare, who was in charge of the 1981 World Cup qualifier between Ireland and Belgium. The result of that match cost Ireland the place in the 82 World Cup.
So it was Belgium, so.
Yeah, because he was still in charge for the 86, but we got hammered by Denmark in that one. We weren't close to that.
4-1 or something like that, wasn't it?
Do you know what day of the week? When? Ireland France was. Yeah, Wednesday. It was a Wednesday afternoon.
Yeah.
Because there's no floodlights. So people had to leave or skip work or whatever. And it was packed.
The only floodlights were in Dalymount Park, and they were dreadful. Like if you had cars on the side of the pitch, you'd have had better light. So they had to, that's why they had, and Lansdowne had no lights, yeah.
Why was it on, do you have no recollection of why it wasn't on a weekend?
No, I think most of the internationals would have been played
midweek. It was
midweek.
just midweek. Yeah, I suppose.
You see that mad stuff, like, remember, because Giles be talking about it as well. And the Leeds stuff, where you'd have games, like you'd be playing for Leeds on the Saturday, Ireland on the Monday, whatever, like mad stuff.
Oh no, on the Sunday. They used to get the boat over. The match had finished and they'd be onto the boat. And they come in at different times and all sorts of conditions.
So international breaks are only kind of a relatively new thing?
Oh yeah.
I was at the Liam Brady goal against Brazil 10 years later.
Oh yeah.
That was my 10th.
That was the All-Ireland team, was it? Oh no, sorry.
No,
that was the Republic. Yeah, I remember that.
Jack Charlton was a friendly.
Yeah.
Brady scored and we won 1-0.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at the crowd here. It's mostly empty.
Yeah.
It wasn't... Ireland weren't too interested in seeing this. The Brazil 86 team had lit up the World Cup, beaten in the quarterfinals. And there's...
What year was that?
87.
87, yeah. I think an All-Ireland team had played them a couple of years before that, and the interest might have waned somewhat after that.
I think maybe people hadn't quite cottoned on to the fact that things were going to turn around for Jack Charlton just yet. We hadn't... I don't know if we'd beaten Bulgaria yet. The Lawrence and goal. Maybe we had, but no one was believing it anyway. We played great.
Oh, yeah. That was a fine goal, if I remember. That was down at the Lansdowne Road end, I think.
Is that
on the right hand side?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm
Put it into the corner. Is my recollection of that. I can't see the screen there. I'm not confident.
We haven't got there
yet. All right, so that's your soccer entry. Now we're moving on to GA, back to back here. So to continue the chronological order, 1978 All-Ireland hurling final, Cork against Kilkenny. What's your history of Cork and Kilkenny matches?
Well, there was nothing particularly outstanding in that game other than the fact that Cork won. And what was outstanding for me was I was at 6 Cork-Kilkenny finals. Cork were favourites from memory for each one of them, and red-hot favourites in some of them. And Cork lost 5 of the 6 finals against Kilkenny. So for that reason, and that reason only, this game sticks out. Jimmy Barry Murphy got a goal, which Noel Skene, I think, was in goal for Kilkenny. He should have stopped. But God, I suffered some horrendous, going up there. 82, Kilkenny absolutely destroyed Cork when Cork. That was the day Christy Heffernan got 3 goals, I think. 83, we was robbed, was the day, because I was stood behind the goal. I was telling you, Con Houlihan, just across the way, Con Houlihan, fantastic journalist, no paper, no pen, nothing, hands in the pockets, and he'd write the most fantastic article the following day. John Duggan had him on the weekend before last, I think, with 2 other lads. And
there was the 100th
centenary,
yeah, centenary of his birth, it would have been. Yeah.
He was marvellous. He was a fantastic writer. But anyway, this ball, Billy Fitzpatrick took a shot for Kilkenny, and even the Kilkenny lads around me said, yeah, that was wide. It was about a foot wide. And what this boiled down to at the end is Cork lost that by 2 points, but they had a great chance for a point in the last minute, but they had to go for a goal because there were 2 points down.
A bit like Kilkenny against Tip this year.
Yeah, it's very absolutely history repeating itself, yeah. So that was a heartbreaker. First one was 69, I saw them in 69, 72, bad goal when Cork were in control of that game. Eddie Kerr scored it. 82 and 83, 2 successive years. I know that was hard to take. And 92. But so the shining light, simply because they won, they beat Kilkenny in 1 game, was 78. And that was the third, that was the 3 in a row.
That factored in at all, the 3 in a row part?
No.
Didn't
mean
matter
a whole lot to me, no. It was just to beat Kilkenny. Sorry, it was great, but just to beat Kilkenny. I mean, that
hadn't been done too many times.
That Kilkenny team, like, around those days, they were almost unbeatable as far as Cork was concerned. I do remember one great thing. I'd never been to a Leinster hurling final, and I went along in 76. Tony Dorn was basically unplayable that time. The Wexford full forward, he was magnificent. He blew skiing ball and all into the back of the net, one thing. And at half time, there was only about 10,000 people at the match, so I'm leaning up against a barrier on the hill, and at half time this fella came over and he says, well, what do you think? I said, good game, yeah. So we chatted away, and he stayed with me for the whole second half. We had a great old chat, and came over, and I was absolutely amazed by the way he could read a game. He was a footballer, it was hurling, and he was telling me what was going to happen. You could see movement around. It was Brian Mullins.
Right.
I'd never put down an afternoon like it. It was an education just to see him. And fella, I know he was a footballer. I don't think he ever played hurling, but it was fabulous. It was one of the best afternoons I ever had, and it was a great game. I think that was 76. Cork beat them that year, and they beat them the following year. But I really wanted to beat Kilkenny in the final. That was for me. That was going to be the supreme thing, and it was. It wasn't a very convincing win, but it was great to beat them. You know, not against Kilkenny. I mean, they're very small. Apparently, the population of Kilkenny is less than that of Carlow, and they're still so successful. It's amazing.
How many Cork All-Ireland finals have you been to, including the last 2 hurling ones?
I've been to about 20 in total. I'd say about 14 Cork ones, but I'd say we've lost more than we've won in that time, which is why that Kilkenny game stands out. One of the reasons why it stands out, you know. So, happy days.
We sat there.
It'll be a long time before we get another one. I'd say the way things are going. But it's interesting to see how Ben will get on now with them.
Definitely did not fall out with his coach, contrary to reports.
Yeah. It's a bit like the stories of the media after match of the game this year and all the shenanigans.
They said it's bullshit, and then Patrick Horgan came out and said the same.
I don't think that happened. I think like Tipperary should have been at worst should have been level at half time.
Yeah.
Tipper very good throw at that game.
How does I'm kind of fascinated by, so you're talking nearly 50 years ago.
Yeah.
I suppose 50 years now, or almost. What was the difference in watching then and now?
Well,
I presume a lot more comfortable now.
This is going to be very controversial. I mean, physically standing at a game.
Yeah, like just being there.
Being there. Oh, yeah, that could be rough. And it was amazing football. I was telling you earlier. I think it was 76. I was at Cork, Wexford, and I was at Dublin, Kerry a couple of weeks later. And it was 15 shillings to get into the hurling match, and it was £1 to get into the football. Like to this day, I never know why. But I remember the football, the crowd behind the goal. It was crazy, and that was the canal end. I mean, the hill was worse.
Yeah.
And I was looking at Sean Moran last week and talking about and going down and I remember that grassy bank down the back of Hill 16. How people weren't killed there, I will never know. There was no crowd control, absolutely none. They got lucky. I'd say that's what happened. They basically got lucky with it.
Did you originally think the question was about how the game's changed?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting too. I know, like from a own point of view.
I am literally a hurler on the ditch now, so I just wouldn't know it. But
aren't we all?
I'm nearly bored watching some of the hurling at this stage. The scores are coming so far. Now, the pitches are better. I think the players are better. They're more skillful. The ball is better. The ball travels miles. But some of the All-Irelands were being won with 230 to 128 or something. There was a score practically every minute.
Yeah.
Like when Cork beat Kilkenny, I think the score was 115 to 28. So you earned every score in those games. And there were some fantastic players. There's no ball goes into the full forward line anymore. There was, unfortunately for Cork this year, there was in the second half with Tip, and they got a couple of goals. But as a rule, you don't see the ball being dropped in around the square anymore. I mean, the famous Hell's Kitchen Tipperary full back line, you took your life into your hands going in with them. But a goal really meant something. I think they should do something like give them 4 points for a goal, make the goal more worthwhile instead of putting the ball over the bar from the halfway line. I just find it boring at times. Particularly if there's a bit between, if the scores are close, fine. I don't know. No, it's a far more skillful game, I think. Some of the skill and like the players, they're playing to professional standards. The training that they're doing, everything they're not getting paid for it, and that's another story. I'd say for another day. The skill levels are amazing. There's no doubt, but I just find it a bit boring at times with the high scoring.
Are you back with football since the rules?
Yeah. I think like we were talking sporting highlights of the year, and you have Troy Parrott, you have McIlroy winning the Masters. Munster beating Leinster in October at Crow Park. That was one for the ages. In recent times anyway. But I think Clifford's point at the end of the first half, I have never seen anything like it. I thought it was, and there was a shot, there was a guy did a YouTube thing, I think he told his young fella to take the shot. It went on for 90 seconds. What's the Donegal Conor back to them? He did everything that he should have done. And the hooter went. And
Brendan McCall.
And
it was magnificent.
And the GAA world saw that and they were like, no,
get rid of it. Yeah, it can't happen again.
Anymore.
That's what we're saying.
No, it's
that's
over.
Fair enough. I don't mind that.
You'll literally never see it again. I think it's madness.
But
the drama of that, where we know it's over, except for this.
But that was just amazing. And then he ran off. He sort of trotted off the pitches. He was playing a Junior B match at home or something. I just thought, for me, that was the sporting highlight of the year. I digress.
If nothing came of that, you would have been given out about Paddy Clifford hogging the ball for 2 minutes.
But something was always going to come out of it. I mean, that man is just he's just something else.
Paddy or David?
Paddy is the workhorse. David is just I mean, he's supreme. He's a fabulous footballer. For me, and for a Corkman to say that about Kerry, I just thought it was fantastic.
So football, you said hurling is kind of your main thing, but the footballers obviously were very successful, and the specifics of the 1990 All-Ireland win, Kildare's last All-Ireland victory.
Yes. Yeah, 8 points out of the 11 that Cork scored that day. That started, it started for me.
Big boys come and they steal your sweets.
Well, let's get a couple of facts. Let's get a couple of facts right here now before starters. Shea Fahy was transferred. I think he was in the army. He was transferred to Cork. I don't think the Cork County Board transferred him down there. So, but I was reading an interesting interview with Tompkins recently, and I think he got disillusioned, I think. Was he Wicklow? Was he born in Wicklow? Or I don't think he was a Kildare man. Was he?
Yeah.
So you can't claim him completely.
Oh no, he was playing for Kildare from the time he was 16.
But he was Wicklow, wasn't he?
No.
Anyway, he was born in Wicklow, as far as I know. I think.
Well, I mean, maybe anyway, hospital was in Wicklow or something, but like his GAA club, and
so he ended up. I think he got totally disillusioned with the whole scene. Went working in the States.
Yeah, he got blackguarded by the county board who wouldn't pay for it. He got badly injured, and they were like, "Well, off you go and get that fixed, and we'll
totally
see you."
Totally disillusioned with the whole thing. Met a couple of lads from Castlehaven, West Cork, over there. And they said, should come back and play with us and see how it goes. And he said he didn't come back to play with Cork. I think the feeling out there is that was it. It was a transfer, playing orderly. So he went and he came back, started working. I think he was a carpenter, or he was certainly in some sort of part of the building trade. Played a couple of matches with Castlehaven, was seen by Cork selectors, and that's where he played with them. And that's the basis which he came back. Anyway, we leave that one aside. We were another one. We was robbed. We was robbed in the well beaten in '87. Meath were by far the superior team in '87. In the first game in '88, where Cork were definitely the better team, Dave Barry conceded, which I diplomatically would say was a soft free. It was never a free. Kerry ref, unfortunately, never ever a free. Stafford, who was a fabulous player, he was an absolutely fabulous player, pointed the free. And second day out, McEntee was sent off after 6 minutes, and Meath did everything they had to do to win the match. It was a horrible game. There was no other way of describing it. There's a lot of bad blood.
The fisted goal from O'Rourke. But he fisted the ball from the ground in the replay. I think O'Rourke had the flu. That's his Michael Jordan flu game. He had the literal flu.
I don't remember that part of it. I just remember it being a horrible, horrible match. It was. I mean, we watched the documentary in it there. Was it last night? Somebody said it was poisonous between the players. And I was telling you earlier that there was the story I read in one of the books about that one of the players, might have been Liam Hayes. I don't want to be wrong on him now, but it was so bad they, without realising it, they'd booked into the same hotel for their end of season holidays. And the lads would meet each other in the lifts, they wouldn't talk to each other. It was just dreadful. So we'll roll on quickly from that. We went to 1990, and Billy Morgan, in a flash of inspiration, picked Colm O'Neill full forward. Colm had been on the periphery of the team throughout the year. And he gave Mick Lyons an absolute roasting in the first half. Lyons fouled him either 4 or 5 times, and in those days there was no yellow cards, there was nothing like this. He got one ball, went around Lyons and crashed it against the crossbar. He was unplayable the same day. So 25 minutes in, he got another ball, beat Lyons to the ball again, and as he got up, Lyons just pushed him. And O'Neill turned around and hit him a haymaker. What an uppercut, I suppose, left-handed into the jaw. And to his eternal credit, I will say this to Mick Lyons, he just walked away. He was almost laughing at O'Neill. Is this the best you can do? So the ref came up and he sent O'Neill off straight away and he said, here we go again. 3 in a row we're going to be beaten by Meath. This is just, can't take this. And Shea Fahy, who had started well, went on to have the game. He was absolutely incredible. He scored, for a midfielder, he scored 4 points from play. Danny Cuddihy was midfield. He also had a fabulous game that day. They just lorded over them. So Meath beat Cork with 14 men, but it was great for Cork to get the All-Ireland. They'd beaten Mayo, they'd won the All-Ireland in '89 against Mayo, and that really didn't mean a whole lot to me. But to beat Meath, that was
Westport.
Westport, yeah. To beat Meath with the 14 men, that was. And that team, they never did really achieve anything after that. That's the very frustrating thing about Cork football. You know, they just never really. They win single All-Irelands, they won 73. They did 89 and 90. I think the next one was 2010, wasn't it? They lost in 99.
What's your theory about that?
Oh, football is definitely second best. Like I as I say, I lived next to what's now Park Equi, but it was the athletic grounds in those days, and it was wide open. There was one bit of corrugated iron thrown over a few rusty seats. It was a health hazard, the whole thing. But it was totally open. You could see everything down there, and I could see from the house when they'd be training there. And while the hurlers were in the championship, they'd train down there because it was the best pitch around, and the footballers wouldn't be left near the place. But as soon as the hurlers were gone from the championship, the footballers would be left in. Then that is a fact. Like, I mean, it was just that's my theory. That's a fact about the training situation. They were just second-class citizens, the footballers. It helped them a bit when they were dual players, but the era of the dual players is gone now, basically. So, and there were some fantastic dual players in Cork. There's no doubt about it, but. No, they never really got the rub of the green. I don't think they did anyway.
There still are some fantastic dual players at club level, obviously.
At club level, yeah.
Who would transform the fortunes of the footballers if they were to hurl as well. But Ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, a lot of them, like Aidan Walsh, who turned up playing with on Gaeltacht in the Kerry Championship there recently, the one the thing he was a great footballer with Cantork, and then he switched to hurling, and they were inclined to lose him. Ray Cummins was the same. One of the fellas I really look up to. He started out really in football and switched to hurling as well. Now, he still played with the footballers, but he had more success with the hurlers, I suppose.
The allure must be amazing, though, like to be a successful hurler in Cork. Especially then, like I said, there can't be anything. Is there a higher is there a higher level of prestige?
There was then. I was at the county semi-finals recently, and there was attendance of about, I'd say, 10,000 at it. There was no great atmosphere. It was just, didn't do a whole lot for me, to be honest with you. And you had the Bars and the Rockies, Middleton and SARS, so 4 big teams. They went through a phase there where a lot of teams that had just come up from junior and intermediate were winning the county. So this was back to the normal thing. And after an All-Ireland year, and the fact they lost All-Ireland wouldn't knock it down, but
yeah,
I don't know, it's just, I was away for the county final. I didn't see the county final, but it seems to have gone out. A lot of it has gone out. I think the county game has taken over from the club game in most places anyway, in the bigger counties.
Yeah, I think so.
And I don't know what the split season has. I know you've debated that ad nauseum, but I don't know. At that time, to win, you were treated like a god. Absolutely.
It's just impossibly alluring. Like you can just see it. You can see why people would be drawn. So much history are tapping into as well. Like it's just decades long. Like it's crazy.
It was fantastic, yeah. But I think we began to take it as just being de rigueur. Like you're just winning these things. The 3 in a row team, but after that it was fairly barren. After that, really, they won 84. I know they won a few more, but to think they haven't won a hurling for 20 years is just
it's really funny, because I do think about it. I always grew up associating Cork with being top of the pile, whatever. But it is funny. Like, so I'm born in 91. So from 91 to 2025, there's just that 4 years. So 99 to 05, there's that spell where they kind of rapidly go off. Maybe that's kind of instructive in my own kind of memory of it. But like beyond that, it's kind of been fairly. It's not like Kerry or whatever else in the football where it's kind of always never too far apart.
No,
it's interesting.
No, it's just I suppose the other thing is, I know it's because it's more urban or not, but there's so much competition now. There's a fella started playing a bit more rugby and stuff like that. Soccer, I think, is quite strong in the lower leagues, and there are far too many other attractions, I suppose. I don't know. The other issue, what's his name? Marty Morrissey did a couple of articles there on RT about the depopulation and country clubs having to amalgamate. But he did one in city centre in Cork, and I think this one was in Glen Rovers, and basically there's no more room for any new housing there. The population has aged, so there are no young people there. This never struck me. And the Pearshik, I think, would be the same. They'd be close to the Glen, and there's no room for development there. So everybody's going all together. There's no young people coming through. So I'd say that could be an interesting aspect in some places. Now they're moving out to the suburbs in Glanmire and Middleton and all these places. They're all benefiting from that.
Yeah.
And Douglas, which is close to where I am, should really have they've never really delivered. They've been thereabouts. So there is a bit of a shift in population. I don't know, that has probably had some bit of a negative aspect on the thing, but it's just sad to see the major clubs not winning the counties. I mean, in my day, you had the Bars, the Rockies and the Glen, and that was it. UCC would throw in a good team every now and again, depending, a lot of inter-county stars from other counties. But that was basically it. You could pick your county champions from any of those. Yeah. It's not there anymore. And I think the senior team has suffered as a result of that.
That's very interesting.
You were walking around a golf course in Cork in 2007, and you said, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on him.
Yeah, you were doing your leaving cert. Mm-hmm. And you came home one day after one of the exams, and you were totally at a loss for nothing. You were actually behind me. You were hanging around the house, and I said, okay, come on, we'll go for the drive. Yeah, he could annoy me that time. So we'll go for the drive. So we went off down to Cork Golf Club.
Tell us more about that.
Leans forward with interest.
Yeah. So we went on. The final of the Irish Amateur Close was on, and there was this fella Lowry. I hadn't a clue who this fella Lowry was. I had heard he was from Offaly. I'd read the exam writing that morning. He was playing the thing, and I didn't. It was only when the whole match was over, when I saw his father, he came back to me, the 82 team and all this. But anyway, he was playing a fella called Niall Turner from Muskerry, who went on to play, I think, in the Asian Tour. We picked him up, typical course, on the furthest out part of the course, on the 5th hole. And that was the 5th hole. Lowry won it on the 15th, but he gave an exhibition, the likes of which I've never seen. It was just stunning. The 14th hole I always remember in Cork Golf Club. It's a while now since I played it, but it's a slight dog leg to the right. He had a fabulous drive down the middle and probably took out a wedge to the green, and the green sort of tilts away from you. Excuse me. Landed the ball and got the ball to spin back up the hill, not the hill, but a gentle slope, and walked up and for about 10 feet just rolled the ball into the hole for the easiest birdie I've ever seen. He won the match on the next hole, and I said to Colm, I have no idea who this guy is, but I'm telling you, we're going to hear a lot about him. And that is, like, he was magic. His hands were just amazing.
What age would he have been then?
He's 37, 38. He's around your age, so he would have been, what's that?
Must have been
18 years ago. He's about 20, 21, I think. Was
Friday the 15th of June 2007, there's a report on the RTE website.
Yeah, that'd be right, yeah.
He won the semi-final 2-1 that morning.
Yeah.
And wins the final 4-3.
Oh, so I saw he was playing the semi-final, so okay. And his father appeared just as the thing was over. I think the father...
no, you were right about the final. You were right, yeah. They obviously they played 36 holes in the same day.
Ah, yeah, not about it. But he was, I watching him, I'd seen Harrington play when Harrington was about the same age, and I just thought that Lowry was a more natural player. Harrington worked ferociously hard at his game, I think. But the gas thing, like, if I'm picking out all the 5 moments that we're looking at, the 2 All-Irelands probably 70,000 at it, France game maybe 50,000, and the last one I'll come on to 27. There were about 300 people at this.
Yeah.
And yet it's the one that probably resonates most with me, you know. It was just... Oh, what an exhibition. It was stunning.
2 years later, he won the Irish Open, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As an amateur.
In Baltray, 2009. Won the playoff against Robert Rock, the man who never wore a cap. Because he had a fine head. He was the only golfer who didn't wear... Oh, he had... And apparently he was sponsored by some shampoo company or something like this. But he... Rock was very magnanimous that day. I mean, it must have been galling for the pro to get into a playoff with an amateur and to lose it, you know. And I don't think he won a huge number of titles. He was a very good, solid player, Rock. But and the Irish Open was one to win. I mean, they all wanted to win the Irish Open.
A few comments coming in here, sorry. Yeah. Brian Lavin says, Tompkins played vocational school for Wicklow, born in Kildare.
There you go.
Born in Kildare, is it?
He swapped.
Okay.
Dave Barry, only one to win the League of Ireland's All-Ireland and an FAI Cup as a manager.
Yeah, and scored a brilliant goal for Cork City against Bayern Munich in the European Cup. That game was played in Musgrave Park. Fabulous goal. Oh, Dave Barry was magnificent. There was nobody like him.
On the Lowry thing then, we were saying before, how would you know that a golfer is extraordinary?
I think it was just on the eye. It was his most natural. I followed Ian Woosnam around Ballybunion in the Irish Seniors Open a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he had the most magnificent swing. No effort. I mean, literally effortless, and the ball would just travel for miles. That for me was it. You see some golfers and they throw the whole body into hitting the shot, and it can be manufactured swing. But Lowry was just natural. And they will say, if you watch particularly the PGA, the American commentators will say he's the softest hands you'll ever see. Like, his short game apparently is up there. There are very, very few can match his short game. Like, for me, I suppose the one thing I would say is you'd expect him to have won more than he has won. Now, when he wins big.
Yeah,
he does win big.
Yeah.
No.
Not a great scorer goal to score a great goal type thing.
No. I think his main ambition in life is to see Offaly win All Ireland. You know,
well, he's doing his bit for that as well.
He does, yeah.
In fairness,
and he turns up there also. But I suppose not alone his father played in '82 to stop the Kerry fight in row. But I think 2 of his uncles were in that team or something in that squad as well.
You hate Kerry, like it's proper visceral hatred.
No. No. I would support Kerry once they got over Cork. Generally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think
a share of people would.
Maybe I
wouldn't like Meath. No, I wouldn't like Kilkenny. I put Kerry above that. No, I wouldn't.
All right, okay. Because I have Cork pals who are like.
Oh yeah, I think further west you go, probably even more so. You know, I mean, some people just there's no to it. I don't hate them. No, I wouldn't hate Kerry.
All right.
No, but maybe I might be unique in that. I'm not sure, but unique in many other ways.
You spend time in Kerry, so that's different.
Yeah.
It is funny. The same thing.
Well, I'll tell you another thing actually about Kerry. A lot of like when I was in college, the student population was about 4,000. And a huge percentage of that were Kerry people. A fellow I didn't get to know him very well, was Moss Keane, who was a marvellous character. I mean, absolutely. The stories of Moss are just legendary. There's so many, and some of them I met. But two very quick ones. He was 2 years ahead of me in college, and I'd known him to salute. They'd be noticed, but how are you doing again? And walking down Baggot Street, I just started working in Dublin, and Moss, since I'd last met him, had gone on to the Irish rugby team. So I see him coming against me. And I said, "Oh, jeez, what am I going to do here?" And I said, "No, I don't want to be annoying him," because he couldn't go anywhere where people would stop, you know. And so I put the head down, I kept on walking, he was walking against me. And next of all, this enormous hand came and caught me and thing. "Wouldn't you say hello to a fella," he says. And I said, "Moss, I didn't want to be annoying you." He said, "Jesus sake," he says, "we're up here, we have all these dubs, we have to stick together," he says, up there, you know. So he was just an amazing guy. Another story about, he was playing football championship game against St. Nick's down in the park, and he was sent off with his country. He was full back, and himself and his Nick's full forward were sent off. And about 10 minutes later, I look over on the sideline, and here's Moss with your man. He was sent off, and the two of them sharing the fag. And that summed up Moss Keane. He was fantastic. So as I say, a lot of Kerry fellas though were in college with us at the same time. For the most part, we got well with them. I thought Kerry were fine. I think there's a lot of gruff goes on about, you know, this hatred, and some people do. And there's no doubt, like, you have Mick O'Dwyer coming out and saying the second best team in the country every year, and that used to drive.
Like, you scratch away at it there, and it's like, I haven't said anything for 5 minutes. Like, yeah, actually, now that you mention it.
Yeah. Oh, they were like, and they'd all be doing it. Like, they're subtle. You know, that's the thing about Kerry fellas. They're subtle. There's a good pal of mine now. He's from North Kerry. Like, he could floor you, but with 2 words, you know. But the second best team in the country. But they
never think of you. That's the thing. It's we don't even think of the Cork lads. No. Apart from that one time we have to go and beat them.
Yeah, no.
It's great for the tourism.
You know, subtle is a great description of it.
Swell Killarney.
It's so accurate.
All right, so to recap, we got Ireland won France 0 in 77 Lansdowne Road. We got the 78 All-Ireland hurling final, Cork beating Kilkenny. The 1990 Ireland football final, Cork beating Meath. And then we have Shane Lowry 2007, the first time you set your eyes upon him in Cork. So 1 to go. Is rugby probably be your number 1 sport these days, would
it? Probably is, yeah.
The last 20 years anyway. So this one's...
well, no.
That's since Leinster got good.
That's since Leinster got good, yeah.
Would you challenge that?
No, I couldn't be bothered.
Right too, yeah. It's generally a good approach to them, right?
To do with those.
Yeah, he does move on to something else.
Nothing to do with those.
Gets distracted. This is a highly emotional game. I had no idea you were at this match.
Oh, yeah. Went in... so we're talking about Anthony Foley. Died on the 16th of October. It was one of the greatest shocks of all time. I mean, it genuinely stopped people everywhere. He was buried on the Friday, and this match was on the following day. And I was sitting down watching the match, and I said, God, Foley was alive this time last week. And it just struck me. It just... Yeah. But we went in, so on my seat was an A4 sheet, slightly bigger, sort of cardboard. And we were asked to hold it up at the start of the game. And both stands, they had 8, Axel 8. And I kept that for a couple of years at home, and a loss, I think, got thrown out or something. But the pre-match, during the game, you didn't know whether to laugh or to cry or what to do. The players were in bits beforehand and afterwards. Glasgow contributed to the whole thing, I have to say, which was ironic because there was a lot of bad blood afterwards between Glasgow and Munster in a couple of matches. There was an attempt to take Conor Murray out, tackling his standing leg while he was kicking. Very nasty.
Yeah.
But they were, I have to take the hat off now, they were excellent that day. But Munster, Glasgow hadn't a hope. They could have sent over the entire Scottish team. The game started, Keith Earls started a lovely little inside pass, they went over for a try, they made it 14-3. Then Earls, very unlike him, tip tackle on Fraser Brown, who was a Scottish hooker, and dumped him head first down on the ground, and he was sent off. I was saying, it was good while it lasted. They actually improved after that. They were just... But it was just a wave of emotion. They didn't train that week, as far as I know. It was just incredible, the whole thing, the whole day.
It was an afternoon kick-off as well.
Yeah. I think Munster have lost a lot of the Cork crowd. I used to go to all the matches down there.
Don Lennon talks about this a good bit, and we always bring it up.
Yeah. But if there's a half... See, it's television dictate, and Munster are the losers all the time. So it's at 5:30, you leave Cork. Well, we had a bit of a regime the way we set up. We leave Cork about 1:30, 2 o'clock. We'd stop and might have a drink before the game, maybe one, close to the ground. Matches on, even a 5:30 game, it's not finished till 7:30. The problem at Thomond Park is on the far side of the city, from the point of view of Cork, so you have to get through the city to get home. So generally speaking, it's probably midnight by the time you get home. That sounds crazy, but by the time you get to the cart, it's 8:30. Dragging out to get out of the place. 7:30 match is a disaster altogether.
Yeah.
But this is one of the games that was at 3:00, and it needed to be because nobody left. When the final was, everybody stayed on. The Glasgow lads, in fairness, stayed out. Like, it was just the whole thing was amazing, and the players came out and they were bawling, like, you know. It was, I don't know. I've never ever experienced anything like it.
Yeah.
It was half sport, half emotion. But I was doing a bit of reading on it there. Foley, he was coach for Munster before that. Didn't go well for him. Was replaced by Erasmus, but Razzie kept him on.
Well, they had that. They were co-head coaches thing.
Yeah, I know Razzie was the boss, but he kept Foley. But they worked very, very well together. It's funny actually. If you look at Erasmus, he had Foley, whom I think he was probably responsible along with. Well, I don't know who made the decision, but they worked very well together. And then he brings over Felix Jones, and then he brings Flannery. So he seems to have a thing with the Irish coaches. Seems to value them. But he said, I remember they played one match against Scarlets in Musgrave Park. They were well in control and they lost it in the last 15 minutes. And that, I'm not sure it was Foley's last game in sole charge, but I watched him going down the steps. They used to sit at the back of the stand and watch him walking down. And he looked totally dejected. I've no doubt the pressure of the thing got to him a bit. But once Erasmus came in, he relaxed. They worked very, very well together. And I just have a theory that in time, if Erasmus had stayed a bit longer, Foley might have come back in again. I could be totally wrong on that. I think they brought Tony McGahan in after that. It wasn't. It was Van Grand, I think he went after that, actually. But had Erasmus stayed for another couple of years, I'd say Foley might have come back. Had poor man survived, you know. But it was you couldn't, like, even still, there's a very good friend of mine now. He's a Munster fanatic. And I get a text from him on the 16th of October every year. And there's 9 years this year. Yeah. That's what, you know, it's just very sad. 42, I think, was it 42?
Terribly young, yeah.
They picked a team to mark the 15th anniversary of the Heineken Cup for all the teams that had played it, and how many teams had played in the 40 or 50. And Foley was number 8 in that team. I think O'Gara might have been out half, actually, I'm not too sure, but Foley was picked as number 8 in the thing. He was just... You know, the hat-trick against Biarritz, Pizzas for Life was the prize for that. He played 86 Heineken Cup matches. Just stop and think about that.
It's incredible.
I think, am I right? I think he played 80-odd Heineken Cup games. He was just a wonderful player. He wasn't massive. He wasn't the biggest player around, but his effectiveness and he literally gelled that team together. And like, they lost a lot of semi-finals and came back every time. And I think a huge amount of that had to go to him. Quinny now would probably he'd be able to talk far better about him than I would, obviously. But
I think that team's identity, their ability to keep coming back from those defeats, those heartbreaking defeats, and then eventually get it done, that cements them as like an all-time great team in Irish sport. And it's the birth of professional rugby properly.
Well, that's the point. I mean, it goes back a small bit for that. I think it started with the AIL. And for the first 12 years, it was Munster teams won that. And that then brought it through to the provincial team. Because Munster in the provincial matches were useless against Ulster and Leinster. They'd lose quite right. They rarely won the provincial championship. They were great against touring teams. I was there in other games, other events. 67, Australia in Musgrave Park.
Oh, yeah?
Australia had a scrum on the line in the last minute. Munster were a couple of points ahead. And I looked as though Australia were going to score. And it was either Noel Murphy or Tommy Kieran, and said to the ref, "How much is left, ref?" He said, "The time is up." "Well, blow your fucking whistle." So he says, "Oh, that's a true story." I was there everybody says we were there in 78 when they beat the All Blacks. I wasn't, but I was there in 73 when they should have beaten the All Blacks. And it was 3-0 to Munster, just going into injury time. And New Zealand got a penalty in the last minute to draw that game. So they could raise the game against touring sides. And the more mundane games. But the AIL, I think, got the whole thing on run. And Shannon, within that, I thought Shannon really were the drivers. Again, no, Quinny's side. Like, I mean, and Foley. You had Galway. You had, there's a whole rake of them, you know. They were fabulous team. And the whole thing pushed on then. Then, as you say, you had the generational thing then. I mean, Munster, the chances of that many, and they were great players. There's no other way of describing them, like coming together in the one team. and unfortunately it's just fizzled out since. It's just, they're good players, but they, no disrespect to any of them, they just couldn't be in the same league as the, when you go through all the names that were there, they were amazing.
It is, even to someone with a very passing interest in rugby, it's interesting how many were household names. You can go through, like, I'd know an awful lot. I'd know a surprise for a team I would never watch. Like, I wouldn't have been watching it because we didn't have Sky Sports for a start. But
well, it was on. That's the point.
Which?
It was on terrestrial TV for years and years. The Heineken Cup.
No, that's not in 06 or 02.
But by then,
yeah, but I wasn't watching. I wasn't watching then.
But like the same team though.
Yeah. No, I don't know where it comes in through osmosis, whatever way. But it's a funny. You could nearly go 1-15, which is crazy. Like,
yeah. Where you couldn't,
the Ireland team as well, like they were.
Yeah, of course.
The Ireland team.
You couldn't see out the 2006 final. You had to walk away.
I had to walk away. I was too nervous. I just could, because there'd been so many disappointments beforehand. And I came back to the house and I thought it was over, and there was still 2 minutes to go. And I said, for feck's sakes, I went back out again. Like, I got very nervous watching it. We watched the semi-final in New York, you and I, for a significant birthday for your mother.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
And it was gas.
Time of the morning.
That was the day they won 30 points to 6.
Time of the morning was that?
It was
10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was very simple. It was a fabulous breakfast, but the match was over, and all the Leinster crowd, and it would have been the same had the result been the other bit, all the Leinster crowd got up and walked out.
Yeah.
And once the fellas started following them, and one guy was there and he says, "Where do you think you're going?" He says, "Well, just after meeting those feckers there," he says, "there's nobody going home here about having a pint," he said. And we sat down for the afternoon, and it was lashing rain outside, I remember it. And we had a nice few pints there, it was and ironically, it was a beautiful day in Ireland. If you watch the highlights of that game, it was played in glorious sunshine. But we got well and truly hammered out there that day. And to be away watching it, there was something about that. And that's the semi-final now, obviously, I'm talking about. The final was nerve-wracking. I mean, the try in the first minute, and and then they turned down, and this was Foley again. They had 3 kickable penalties in the first half. And he told O'Gara into the corner every time. And they got two tries in the first half, and that was the winning of the game. Halstead got one, and it was the David.
Stringer went around
Stringer's famous try. The fellow who couldn't make a break.
Were you more comfortable in the 08 final? I don't have much memory of the 08 final.
The big thing about the 08 final is we had won already. It's a bit like Cork beating Meath. The monkey was off the back at that stage. That was a fine game. They played some fabulous rugby. There was only one try, and they scored it close. Leamy went over, and that was a good Toulouse. They were a fine team as well. But they were, I won't say comfortable in that game, but they gave their performance in that game, I thought, was better than in 2006.
So what's gone wrong? Why are they no longer producing players?
I think the players aren't there as the main thing. It's not quite that simple. The number of things, like, you're trying to get me going now on the Leinster influence and all this kind of stuff around there. But first of all, the players disappeared. They probably built the stadium in the wrong place. Because if you look at Thomond Park now, the crowds there are tiny. Cork people are just not. And funnily enough, I know a couple of Limerick people, when they played Gloucester recently in Cork. I'm not going to Cork to watch a match. He says this game should be played in Limerick. So there's a bit of that stuff, a small bit. I don't know to what extent. I'm not huge. Like, I don't come from a rugby background. Although I saw my first rugby match in Temple Hill in the late 50s, I would have been regularly go by. I didn't go to a rugby school, but I think you have to say the players aren't there. They haven't had great managers. They brought some very poor players. They bought some great players. I mean, the likes of Howlett. John Langford before him was an amazing. Like, he was. Everybody says, and this thing about Humphreys, don't bring in foreign fellas in positions where you have to watch out. But Langford brought on, I'd say, other fellas. He brought them on leaps and bounds, and there's that argument. They've said, I think what's gone wrong. One of the big problems at the moment is at the current time is you don't have a scrum, and Humphreys wouldn't let them bring in any foreigners after he allowed Leinster bring in Salami or whatever his name is, and they had the 2 front rows. They had the first and the reserve front row. And the Irish team, he wouldn't allow Munster bring in anybody. I mean, Stephen Archer last year at 36, 37 years of age played more than one 80-minute match. You talk about health and safety. Like, to me, he was in some ways the player of the season to last that long. But the scrum was creaking. Even this year if you don't have a scrum, you saw it against South Africa.
No scrum, no win.
You haven't hope. No, Munster bucked that trend in October when Leinster, I think they gave away 7 scrum penalties that day. But Yeah, there were a few things. There were a couple of bad boys. Some of the managers, Rob Penny came in, he tried to run every single ball they got, and that just died a death. It didn't work out. He had the right vision. He probably didn't have the players for what he wanted to do. And it'll be interesting to see how the new fella. I just have a funny feeling. I think I read something recently. He said that they might have caught Leinster on the hop in October. I'm just wondering, is he saying, God, is this as good as I thought it was going to be? I don't know. He's very honest. I mean, he's brutally honest in his assessment of some of the games. But
so, what do you think is going to? What's your prediction for the game, the weekend?
On the 27th?
Yeah.
I'll go Munster victory. But I don't think you're as confident.
No, there's no way Leinster. First of all, I think Leinster will pull out their full team. There's no way they're going to allow Munster beat them if they can twice in the same season. I don't know what team Munster are going to put out. I'm utterly convinced Leinster will put out their first team. Which should be an Irish team, basically.
They have everybody available.
But it is an Irish team.
I'm sorry, Munster have everybody available.
Oh, they
do
have,
you think there's any world in which they decide to throw the game, Maria? Like, we put out our weekend team, and if they win, amazing.
Yeah. I think...
And you keep the psychological safety.
There's a touch of that. I think Tyburn needs to be given a proper rest. He's played in practically every game. And there's this I don't know, is it a Hackney thing that the year after a Lions tour, and like the way he played in the Lions, he was just magnificent. He gave everything to it. How that man came, and he played against Leinster in that game, and was brilliant in that game as well. But I'd be surprised if they play him. It depends on whether they're confident that they're going to win the game. If they are, they'll put out, I think, the full team. I just have a feeling they're going to rest a few, because if you look at it, Leinster have won their first two games. Have they 10 points from their first two European matches?
I think it's 9.
9, is it? But they're going to come on top of the pool. Munster in a dogfight. They have a trip to Belfast. Did they go to Belfast after the Leinster game?
Munster.
Excuse me.
They're all in the.
And then they're away to Toulon. So, they really have to manage the team and decide which is the game that they really have to win. So, I don't know. But I would be amazed if Leinster don't pull out their first choice team. They just won't allow it from there. If they can, they won't allow it to. But their second choice team would probably be nearly as good as their first team. They have so many guys in it. We'll see.
Have you shared your Josh van der Fleer led suggestion to Bill?
Which one?
To taking a year out, so to speak, or a year of different experience.
Yeah.
What do you think of this idea?
What's this?
So ripping off what the All Blacks did by giving people a sabbatical in the middle of a World Cup cycle so that they're fit and fresh for the World Cup.
I saw that.
We don't have many sevens coming through who are world class. And Van der Fleer could obviously also plays almost every minute of. They've started to take him off in games. And any of those specialist positions, I'd do the same for Tyke Furlong. He's at that stage of his career. I wouldn't be averse to giving Tyke Byrne a year on the beach and saying, right.
Would you literally just have him playing no rugby at all, is it?
I would, case by case, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to go off to Japan and earn $1 million for 6 months? If you want to do that, fine. If Tyke Furlong wants to go and farm for 6 months, off you go. Tyke Byrne, whatever.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And I think they need to change their stance on fellas not playing abroad as well. I mean, South Africa, I wouldn't agree, to put it mildly, with everything Matt Williams says. And that's putting it mildly. But he came up, when John de Villiers joined Munster, he joined him for a year. He said the only reason he joined Munster was to come up and see what rugby was like in Europe. And they went back and they won the World Cup afterwards. And I think, we could do a bit of that, going over to see what the world is like in other. But we have this thing that we just stay at home all. No, I know why, and it's been tremendously successful on the national front. But I think, and particularly as fellas get older, they're probably. I mean, Paulie was given a contract in, I think it was Toulon.
Toulon, yeah.
And he injured himself, and there's a bit of that to them. And if you stop and think about it, there are international windows, particularly for the Six Nations. Leave the odd fella go away. See what the rest of the world is like, and give other fellas a chance to come through at home then as well. I mean, Leinster, like, you're a huge fan of Frawley, and I admire him as well. That poor man hasn't been given a chance at all, and I'm not sure Connacht is the right fix for him either, but I think there needs to be a little bit more. Let them go abroad if they want to. We were watching, partly because he had the red helmet, and you were talking about Van der Fleer and he's going non-stop in every game. I thought in that game, I said it to you, he's taking too much on himself. He literally, every time he got the ball, he went for everything.
Van der Fleer?
Yeah.
In the Croke Park game?
Yeah. And he does that, like he gives 100% of everything. And you're right, I think maybe just a little bit of a breathing space from time to time for them.
Yeah, a bit of Super Rugby, see what life is like down there.
Peter Clohessy did it after he would, and gone back a long time now. I know it for different reasons, but he came back. He came back a different player.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He had a new career when he came back.
Did he get the band down there, or did he get the band before he went down? What was it was a big band?
No, he wasn't banned down there. He was banned here.
Right.
He's against France.
Play down there.
Oh yeah.
Right. There was a stamp on the head involved.
His leg went astray slightly. Yeah. And it was a bad incident. But he learned. For number one, he learned from it. He went down there and he came back a far better player. John Hayes went down there as his second row. As a kid, down to Invercargill as a second row, and he came back as a prop. They converted him to a prop.
100 caps. Yeah.
So, I don't know, I think we're a little bit parochial in this. We could do a bit more just to spread it. I think some of the Ulster guys would do with it. See, a lot of fellas at home now would say, is Gavin Coombs ever going to get a chance? And they say, she's just not good enough. But and the same with the Ulster guys. They're never playing really good teams. They're playing with Munster, so he's sort of shoring up the thing. I'd love to see, I know it'll never happen, but if you put Coombs in number 8 in a Leinster team or in an Irish team with all those players around him, how would he go then?
They must see him in training though, or there must have been an Ireland camp where
I've heard that
he didn't do enough.
Well, he had one bad game. He played for Ireland Day in Donnybrook, and he had a bad game that night. But if you go back to the Leinster game this year, I mean, everybody says give him the ball inside in the 22 and nobody will stop him. But that's his game.
Yeah.
But against Leinster that night, I mean, he stopped one certain try. He got under, I think it was Van der Fleer actually. And his defence that day was just that even. It was absolutely fantastic. What I'm saying is put him in a match at that level. But I'd love to see him. I agree with you. They definitely see things that we don't see. But I'd love to see him playing. Can't be done. But I'd love to see him playing the Leinster team for weeks, how he'd feature. And I'm not just talking about Coombs. I'm talking about a whole rake of players. I mean, your man Balakoum with Ulster, I'd love to see him playing maybe one of the French teams and see what he'd be like. He'd be absolutely fantastic.
I'd say there's a good chance that you might see that with Balakoum if he's not in the Ireland squad sooner rather than later.
Well, with a lot of them. I mean, the big fear we'd have in Munster is if the Munster fellas are overlooked all the time, they come to 28, 29, they get a contract, the contract is probably dwindling a bit. I'd have thought, I just can't understand how a French club hasn't come in for Coombs. I'd have thought, where his position, that he would be very attractive to some of the French clubs. I just get that feeling. And I'm sorry, I'm just giving him as one example. I mean, I think John Hodnett is a fabulous player, who again would do a job for any other team. But they're not getting the opportunity, and we lament that down south. But there is a feeling that if there's a 50-50 call, and this is bias obviously on our part, but the feeling is that it's going to go against us.
But Andy Farrell actually worked for Munster first before he did the Ireland game.
He did about 3 or 4 months with Foley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
that's a long time ago now, Ger.
It is, but in his book he talks about how important it was for him to get that experience and find see what the Munster way was. But
no, I think the one thing that I found, sorry, you have to pick the best players. There's no two ways. But what was very depressing, I think, for the rest of the country was, if you looked at the Lions tour this year and the Irish team that went to Georgia, wasn't it?
Yeah.
24 of that were Leinster players. So that's a team and a half. So what's it saying to the other provinces? And what's it doing to the supporters in the other provinces? That's the point. That's the concern I have, is that people, and as I say, I mean, you're saying Donald Lennon and the Cork crowd are losing interest. It's a bit unique anyway, and there's two centres, so you have a bit of a drive up there. That's the concern I have. It's great for Irish rugby in the short to medium term. Long term, I'm just concerned what it would do to the whole provincial game.
We'll see how Foley gets on in Connacht next year. Billy, that was great.
Enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
You had to be there.
Yeah, thank you.
You have to be there.
One last cash machine for the road.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Off the balls cash machine.
So this is today. Someone will win €100,000 guaranteed tax-free. All you got to do to enter is text OTB to 57557. It's $2.50 plus your standard message rate to play. You got to be over 18. You're playing across the Go Loud network of stations. Check out all the terms on offtheball.com. Your entry needs to be in by 3 today. Cash machine then randomly picks a number. It could be you. We call. Answer within 5 rings. Tell us the prize amount. If the cash is yours, text OTB to 57557. It's €100,000 exactly.
Off the balls cash machine.
Oh,
Go on.
No, that's it.
No, you were going to say something?
That's it. Now we're done.
What was it?
No, we're just reflecting on the piece there.
Yeah.
That's all. Enjoy it?
Yeah.
You left a lot out there?
There was a lot more. But sure. Just really enjoyed it. Yeah. Good chat. I liked the whole format. I thought Brendan Fanning and Sean Moran were excellent. I really enjoyed it from their perspective. Brendan Fanning worked with your sister in the Tribune.
We're on air now.
Are we? Okay. No, you tell me. Thanks very much. Yeah.
Well, that could
I said it though. I said it to Brendan afterwards.
Yeah.
I said, do you know Kieran Cronin? Oh yeah, brilliant. And it's by his reaction, I could go further with the information.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, we'll just try that. Thanks for telling me we're on there.
Yeah. Look,
that's good. That could have been.
Don't just give it up. Give it up. We're behind.
A costly end to the year, but it turned out it wasn't.
I could have told you what I thought about Ger there.
I know. Yeah. Very.
Yeah.
On that note, happy Christmas, and we'll be back next week with loads of good stuff. Our crystal ball. Yeah, all going well. Few technical issues to overcome before then. We'll be grand. See you then, folks. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Look, thank you. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Off the Ball Breakfast.
Ireland's sports breakfast show.
Yeah!